Hi, everyone, and welcome to Houston Refocused. I'm your host, Roger Palomino. Today, we have a very special guest. He is the author of A Place of Miracles, Mr. Lee Hilling. To give you a little bit about his background, he has been chairman of the French Medical Institute's board governing body since 2006 and has traveled to Afghanistan at least 60 times. He has held board and executive management positions here in the United States, Pakistan, and East Africa. So to explain the French Medical Institute for Children, it consists of several organizations such as the Aga Khan Development Network, La Chaîne de l'Espoir, two private organizations, and the Islamic Republic of Afghanistan and France. What is most interesting about the French Medical Institute for Children is that at least 1,600 infants have been treated for congenital and acquired heart disease. And this is Afghanistan's one of their most remarkable success stories. So thank you very much for being here with us, Mr. Hilling.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And so that brings me to my first question. What inspired you to write A Place of Miracles?
I was inspired after having worked with the organization for a few years, and I saw an event that we were sponsoring, the first international symposium we'd sponsored. And we had about 400 people attended from about a dozen countries. I happened to be sitting near some Americans who were attending, Navy doctor and nurse. And while our Afghan doctors were there speaking and presenting papers, the nurse turned to someone else and said, "I didn't know anything like this could ever happen in Afghanistan." And I just became overwhelmed and realized that what we were doing with the FMIC, French Medical Institute for Children, was more than just providing service, that we were really involved in the reconstruction of Afghanistan. And that was when the book began to emerge and pour out of me.
Yeah, and I found what I read about the book very fascinating because I know one of the first infants treated was Neha. She was a twin. She had an identical twin. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Well, the importance of Neha's story is that she was a premature infant that required neonatal intensive care services, which didn't exist anyplace in Afghanistan except at FMIC. And her sister died because by the time they arrived at FMIC, she had so many complications. Neha was surviving, and she weighed 1 pound 12 ounces. And she was able to be placed in an incubator and thrived eventually. And when she was discharged, she was the smallest infant to ever be treated and survive in Afghanistan. And that was just the beginning of an ongoing story about neonatal intensive care.
Right, very important things to think about. So, what were some of the challenges involved in building these alliances? Because I know there's several organizations that form part of the French Medical Institute for Children.
And I think that's one of the special features about FMIC that makes it what I call really, and I believe is true, one of the most successful social sector reconstruction success stories in Afghanistan. Committed partners, the Aga Khan Development Network, founded and chaired by His Highness the Aga Khan, the French development organization La Chaîne de l'Espoir, and the two governments, the governments of Islamic Republic of Afghanistan and France, coming together in a four-party public-private partnership in Afghanistan, a war-torn place where development projects have been failing tremendously over the years that Americans and others have been investing in. But this model and the way it's been able to be executed has resulted in something that stands out and is really special. So that's the beginning of what can happen there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and very important things to think about too, because it affects so many families and so many infants. So, how does the definition of miracle apply to the French Medical Institute for Children?
Right. And you cited the number of cardiac cases earlier. I want to say that we're now at about 2,500 cases. And the miracle, why I chose that title, and I don't think it's an exaggeration, because extraordinary things have been able to be accomplished at FMIC that could never before be accomplished in Afghanistan. And going on from that story of the numbers of cardiac cases, now an all-Afghan team, surgeons, perfusionists, technicians, are doing all of the open heart surgeries and cases that are done in this hospital, trained by these partners that came together with their resources with the primary mission of uplifting the capacity of Afghans to work in their own hospital.
Wow, that's remarkable. How has this experience governing these different boards and being in Afghanistan has changed the way you see the medical field?
Well, as you noted, I've had a long experience of running university and academic hospitals in the United States and abroad. And for me, it's been the most passionate and personal experience to be involved with the Afghans who have gotten a really rotten deal in life with all of the things that have been going on for more than 30 years that have destroyed their country. And they are, one of the things that I hope we all understand is Afghans have the capacity to excel and succeed. I love them. They're resilient and they have great potential if given the opportunity. Being close to them and being able to watch and see their response to the things that are able to do to help them has made me feel much more relevant in what chosen field I have followed in health administration and things. It's just greater than any experience I've had in the world.
Yeah, because it requires a lot of outreach and changing so many lives.
Oh, you see it. You can see it. You're surrounded by it, and it is powerful and it's passionate. But it's the glory of it is it's a success, and that these miracles are happening.
Exactly, a human success story, which brings me to what are some of the regions that you feel are in need of a similar type of initiative or change?
Well, I think that in Afghanistan, Americans hear all the time that nothing succeeds there. And our own Special Inspector General for Afghan Reconstruction, John Sopko, has pointed out that the U.S. has spent more for the development of Afghanistan than was spent to develop Europe after World War II. Just pause and think about that. And he points out that a great many of the projects have been failures, have not worked. And so I think in Afghanistan, FMIC and the way these partners have come together to commit their resources and work in this unique way is a model in Afghanistan that I hope that our own government and others involved in the development of Afghanistan will look at these organizations as a model and potentially emulate this kind of a relationship, because the Afghan people and government have ownership of this place. They believe in it, it's theirs, and so I think any place that there's development, it's a good opportunity that this model should be considered by others, and that's one of the reasons I wanted to write about it in the book.
Yeah, absolutely. So, A Place of Miracles. This book can be found also on Amazon.
Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, or through the publisher Outskirts. So it's available in all those sources, electronic or print versions. Yeah.
Okay, and which brings me to my final question. Is this going to bring you eventually back to Afghanistan to continue maybe a follow-up book?
Well, I don't know about a follow-up book, but continued work. I've now been there about 65 times. We now, as we're speaking today, moving from just the 85-bed children's hospital to open 66 beds of high-risk maternity and 14 neonatal intensive care bassinets that will provide the most complicated care along Neha's line in the country. And with our partners, again, the Aga Khan Development Network, leading the effort to develop an academic medical center that could lead us to about 450 to 500 beds, treating a wide range of services, not only in Afghanistan, but across the border in Central Asia, with FMIC as the hub of that network. So as long as the energy and they allow me, it's a relationship that's very fulfilling.
That's amazing. A relationship that's moving from that part of the world to hopefully all around the world.
Well, it's certainly in the developing world. It's a model that I hope that people that are people and countries that are looking for places to invest in development will look at this kind of partnership and these partners' ability to make something happen this extraordinary.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a very extraordinary story. Congratulations on your book, Mr. Hilling.
Well, thank you very much. It's a privilege to tell the story.
Thank you. And you were just watching Houston Refocused with me, your host, Roger Palomino, and we were just talking to the author of A Place of Miracles, Mr. Lee Hilling. We'll see you next time.